Hello YouTube world. I've got some cards I want to show you. It's just be a quick show and tell type of episode. I recently picked up these cards, have different reasons for grabbing each one. I'll go over them, but I just thought this would be a neat video. I've been excited to see some of these cards. I've only just begun. We've only just begun.
We've only just begun.
All right, Chubb, sorry. I've only just begun buying graded cards outright. Usually I like to grade them myself. I've had a lot of good luck grading cards. You can see this shelf behind me. Those are all cards that we've graded ourselves, except for one, I think. But all those are ours. All these on the top, you see, are PSA 10s for 151, and we'll talk about that in a second. Really proud of that, of being able to grade them all ourselves and pull them, almost everything we pull ourselves as well. When I say we, I mean me and my children, which I actually tried to record this video last night and they totally interrupted and, you know, made it their own. And I don't know, I decided on whether to keep that video or just re-record it, but I'm probably do a mix of both. My youngest son has a hammer right now. So what are you gonna do with a hammer? You haven't seen this one.
Yes, I have.
Can I please have the hammer? He's got a hammer. Children. Can you focus? You're not taking over my video. Shh. Or something like that. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to show you these cards. So the very first one, as you can see, is Perrin from Twilight Masquerade. This is a PSA 10 special illustration rare. I think this one is an adorable card. For if you haven't seen this before, it has a kind of a special print or a special card to go along with it, in that it's like a diorama or a mosaic or whatever you call it, but it goes with its friend here, the Hisuian Growly, also from Twilight Masquerade, from the same set. I think this was a brilliant idea, but what it does is it combines together. It's actually one card put together, or one image put together. So she's taking a picture of the Growly, and you can see even in the lens frame the Growly. So I think this is a beautifully designed card. These right now are, I mean, for a trainer SIR, they are pretty expensive, I think, because of the uniqueness that this card has. But I think they're actually undervalued. I think this will continue to go up pretty significantly. I think these types of cards that have something special about them obviously have more collectability. And so I wanted to nab this and be involved in the Perrin business, I guess you could say. So I have some other Perrin cards actually being outgraded right now. We just submitted last week, so we'll have a few months before we ever get those back. But I did nab this on Facebook Marketplace recently. I did buy it from a local guy, and we did get the PSA 10 version of that. So something you'll realize about me is I am kind of a PSA 10 snob. For modern, I tend to not buy any PSA 9s. But something I have considered recently is buying PSA 9s to crack and regrade. That's something I have considered. I've seen some people have success with that. You just got to buy the right cards. And anyways, we won't talk about that this video, but yeah, that's my first pickup. I thought was really cool. The next one, which I think is an undervalued card that I decided to grab, is, and again, these all have a theme that goes along with the reasons for buying them, but this is the Clobbopus from Surging Sparks illustration rare. This one has the same illustrator as the Bubble Mew. So I know that the Solopus or Solosis from Black, I'll put a picture up, from Black Bolt, that is also known as the Booger Mew, had a huge spike in price a couple months back as people started, I guess, illustrator collecting. So because the Bubble Mew had its insane trajectory and spike in price, the fact that this illustrator doesn't have a lot of cards, and they're very unique illustrations and style, that it also translated over to the Solosis. But this one was kind of underrated, or under the radar, I should say, is the Clobbopus. And it's going for really cheap at a PSA 10. You're talking about a $70, $80 card right now, which I bought actually around 90, but they have gone down some more. Just the whole market's kind of cooling off. But I think that this card is an undervalued card still and will continue to go up as more and more people tend to collect around themes. And I think the Illustrator theme is definitely something that's going to continue to grow over time. And as this Illustrator has more hits, I think that's a reliable way to think about your collecting strategy. And apart from it just being a collecting strategy, if you like the card and you like the illustrations, that's a big part of it. To me, as I have looked at this card more and more, without having playing the newer games and even knowing really much about this Pokemon, it does kind of look weird. I'll be honest with you. I did kind of buy it going like, well, it's part of the same illustrator. I'll just go ahead and grab some, right? And this one's a cheap one from the same illustrator. I've seen some people have entire binders filled with just this card. So, but anyways, I do have two of them. So 2 PSA 10s. I just thought, while they were cheap, I'm going to go ahead and grab some. So I eventually do need to get the Solicus to complete my collection, and I'll have to repurchase the Bubble Mew. Long story. I had it and then sold it, and now I want it again. Anyways, next one, as we were talking about PSA 10 151 cards. These are the only two. These are the only two cards. I don't know why I'm holding them up there. These are the only cards. I'll go one at a time. The only cards that I've purchased 151 graded. So like I mentioned, everything in our PSA 10 shelf from 151, we have pulled and graded ourselves. We have a lot of 9s, and we've sold some of the 9s or traded them, and just to get the 10s. But yeah, in this shelf right here, let me see if I can, wait, how do you, wait, what? Wow, that's actually really complicated to go, there you go, this way. That shelf is all of our PSA 10s. We are 5 away from having a complete collection of illustration rares, hyper rares, and special illustration rares of 151, including the promos. We're 5 away, but we did grab 2. So the first one was the Snorlax in a PSA 10. I did make a short about this. I don't know why, I just did it randomly. Yeah, so this is one we've actually graded twice ourselves and got 9s both times. At a certain point, if you find a good deal, I do think it's worth it to just grab the PSA 10 version of this. So that's what I did. I did find a good deal on it. Actually, this was on GameStop's. I got the pro member price, but no, it was undervalued when I bought it. And I think it's actually about the same price as I bought it now. It hasn't really changed much. The next one for my PSA 10 collection for 151 is the hyper rare. This was an interesting one because I have graded also 2 of this card and had 2 9s. And I have submitted a few months ago even more switches to try and get a 10. At a certain point, you've got to just be honest with yourself and decide, is it worth it to keep submitting the same card over and over again if you're not getting success, especially when it's a lower value card like this. This is not an expensive card. You're talking about a $2 card, $2 to $3 card raw. So do you really want to keep paying those grading fees when the card in a 10? Well, when I purchased this, I got it for $80. But the trick of this card was there was no one selling a PSA 10 at a reasonable price because there's so few. Actually, I think the pop report on this card is fairly low because there's just not a big drive to grade a golden switch. But this one was a real challenging one to get, and when it shouldn't have been, right? You should be able to grab, like, this is should be a fairly inexpensive card. They just weren't on the market. And the very few that were knew they were the only ones on the market, and they were listing them for ridiculous prices, like $300 to $400. So I mean, yeah, if you were desperate and you absolutely needed that and that was the only one available, that's the price, I guess. But I did eventually see this one on my eBay feed from PSA directly, the PSA vault or whatever, and put an offer on it. I think it was listed for 100, put an offer for 80 and accepted. So finally we have this card in a PSA 10 to help complete the 151 set. So next one is, I only have one more theme to kind of show you. one other thing that I've put on my list for collecting is first generation alternate arts. Now, I am not super well versed in all the generations of Pokemon. I've been back into Pokemon extensively this past year, or maybe 3 years really. But even before this year, I only collected vintage first gen. And it wasn't until this year I decided to open it up to modern. I've had a lot of fun doing it, but still my mind is not super well versed in anything that's not first gen. So because of that, I did take looking into research in a lot of the modern sets that weren't that weren't Scarlet and Violet. Anything before Scarlet and Violet, I knew nothing about, but did notice that there were some alternate arts from first gen that were extremely cheap. So what I have found are some of these beautiful first gen alternate arts that are actually really hard to pull. If you were to try and pull this card, Astral Radiance Beedrill from packs, I mean, you're going to be spending thousands of dollars to try and get this card. Or if you buy the single outright, it's about $40. And even the Gem Mint version of this card was only about $115, I think is what I paid to get this card. So I think that these are undervalued. I would love to have enough budget to buy a bunch of these, to be honest, because I do think that they're going to go up in price over time, even though it's just a Beedrill. But I think this Beedrill looks amazing. And it reminds me of like the anime, like the first episode, I think, or the second episode, when Ash is caught by a swarm of Beedrills. This basically looks like it's a clip from that episode. So I don't know. I just really like this card. I have a raw version of this and a PSA 10 version of this now. And yeah, so and then that same theme, I made another video recently where I talked about really wanting to find the Machamp from Astral Radiance as well. Again, an undervalued first gen alternate art. And what did we get? Yes, we did get that card finally. In the same trip where I went and got my Perrin from Facebook Marketplace, there was a seller. This was actually what really got me out of the house to go buying cards that day. Was this Machamp, which has perfect centering, and on the listing it said PSA 10 contender. And you know, sometimes when you see that, you just go, yeah, PSA 10 contender. They're just trying to put that out there so they can try and charge you more. But this was a really good deal. It was $160. It's about $10 over the going market price raw. But if you look at this card, it is immaculate. I mean, centering both front and back is gorgeous. There are no marks, there are no scratches, there's no edge wear. Chances are this will be a PSA 10. And I haven't submitted this yet, but I will this week. But I just wanted to kind of give an update on, we did finally get the Machamp V. There are some other cards out there that I really want to try and get, some of the other first gen alternate arts, but this was a good start from the Beedrill and the Machamp. We're going to continue down that path, and yeah, so those are my recent pickups. I have a collecting goal for all of them. They're not just random, like there's a reason, a reason for each purchase, and it's a mix between I really like them, and also I think that they will increase in value over time. So that's it. I hope you like this. This is a really quick video. Not a lot of editing or craziness like I've been trying to do in some of my other videos. Just wanted to do a quick show and tell, and I hope you liked it. Let me know what you think in the comments. What are some of your favorite cards or your new pickups that you're looking to get, or where you think the market's going to go, or where you think some of the undervalued cards are today. Yeah, let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next video.